Hello, hello.
Hello there.
I hear you.
I'm
Everyone
listening.
hear you too. How are you going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. So for anyone that's joined, just to introduce, this is Mr. Edgeable. And Edgeable are basically looking to, I guess, harness the power of data, right, to not only help to validate your trading strategies, right? But also to see whether because most of us are prop traders in this space, right? So it's pretty different way of trading. If you dig into the data, you could have a strategy that performs very well in a personal account, right? Having access to the total drawdown or equity in that account, right? But if you're dealing with a the prop firm sort of framework, uh, it's a different set of restrictions and rules that allow you to not only pass the challenge, but also to get to a point where you can secure a payout, right? So that's kind of edgeable in the simplest explanation, but there's a lot more going on too, because it's becoming more of like an ecosystem, would you not call it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so like you even have your like a lot of us in the prop space, if we manage to get to a point where we're stacking accounts, what's the natural progression from that? It's copy trading, right? And there's a few copy traders out there, well-known ones. I won't name names, but I think what Edgeable Sync, if I'm right to call it that. Edgeable Sync, the copy trader, is actually not only is it more affordable in many ways, but it has a lot more potential integrations coming. So that is a very green flag, should we say, and also just the fact that it's affordable compared to the other integrations, copy trading integrations. I think it's a no-brainer if you can spend less and get a more quality product with low latency and constant uptime. I think that's what we all want when we're copy trading. So yeah, I mean that's kind of it. But today I wanted to just have a casual conversation with you and to also showcase what EvilAI have been doing with this new app, which is the ATM Lab. ATM standing for Automated Trading Machine, right? So I think without without going into too much detail, it's pretty obvious what it's there for. It's taking these signals. If anyone has watched previous streams we've done, where we were showcasing the evil signals.trade app. It's basically taking all those signals and processing it with another additional layer, right? And that layer is because, you can have a signal, right? And one person can make money from that signal and another person might not. And you wonder what you're doing differently to the next person, right? What allowed them to actually monopolize on a signal or a trade setup, right? And allowed them to have a profitable outcome. Well, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be how they manage the trade. So I think a lot of people out there are not considering that as part of the additional layer and required pipeline of events, right? When we're getting in and out of trades. So that's where ATM Lab sort of excels. Is we have all these different strategies for trade management, right? And utilizing the actual signals, right? The actual signals that we receive, real signals, we're able to then, I guess, fine tune and optimize entry and exit strategies based on what worked best, right? So yeah, I mean that's kind of the brief outline of what you're seeing here on the front page. Um, and yeah, we have Lazy Boy, which is sort of like um, this rolling process of, I guess, divvying out what trades are um, currently the best of the bunch on a rotating basis. So it's constantly adapting to the new combos and trends, right? And so those are the signals coming from the Evil Signals .trade app. But yeah, a lot of work. When did I start putting this together? Probably a few weeks ago, or something like that, maybe a month ago. So a lot of things have happened since. You can see right here, and now I have auto ATM mode on, right? And that's the machine learning algorithm and the new LLM, right? So it's like having a brain, right? That not only takes all the signal data historically and says, hey, these are the current most optimal ATM strategies to use with the current environment and regime, right? So let's say we're chopping about, you want to kind of keep your stops tighter and targets tighter. If we're expanding, then you're going to want to use something like momentum, right? And so the LLM is able to actually decide what the environment is and what strategy we should use. Um, there's even a let's whack it on Lazy Boy, right? I'll just sort of go through this page, and Mr. Edgeable, if you want to butt in at any point when I get to the prop mode, because this is actually powered by the Edgeable API, which is really cool. For anyone who's signing up to EvilAI, they'll automatically get direct feed that will help to influence your choice of modes, right? To pass your prop firm account. We'll get into that in a moment. So Lazy Boy using app derived levels, right? And then we'll go for, let's compare. Let's compare. So currently, if we select momentum mode, which as you can see has, and we'll use 90 days, look back, right? And let's see momentum mode, and we'll compare it to, say, slightly like a standard strategy, exit strategy, like as most of you would be doing manual trading. It's sort of simulating that, which is maybe you have two take profits, right? TP1 exits half the position, and then we put stop to break even automatically, right? And then leaving a runner to TP2. Pretty standard approach to trade management, right? So if we compare those two, we can see how the blue line here is the standard approach. Momentum mode pretty much just trails, right? And we have tick by tick trailing. So it's this smooth trailing, right? So as price pushes up, I think it is, if we move 75% towards TP TP1 or 2, I forget. And then we pull back 30% of that move. So the 75%, the trailing starts then, right? And then if we have a pullback, it pulls back from the high watermark, so the highest price in a long, for example. Yeah. And then that will start to trail aggressively, right? Tick by tick. Yeah. So it's this sort of smooth, fluid trailing. Yeah. But you can see how the momentum manages to monopolize on those momentum-based moves more than, say, if you were going for the standard, which is still profitable, as you can see, but yeah, you're not letting runners run. Yeah. So it just depends, like what kind of style do you want to go for, right? The next level up from that, right, would be acknowledging the fact that we're prop firm traders, right? The majority of us. Let's say we want to use lazy boy mode, right? And app levels. And we want to see how that works. Let's go for a top step 50K account, right? Simulating the confines, the restrictions of those accounts, right? We're going to use 2 micros, yeah. And it's currently showing, give it a moment, because it has to call against the Edgeable API, yeah. And let's say we want to do it over 14-day eval period, right? It's currently saying that you should use momentum mode, right? So these are listed in, you can see they're ranked, right? 1 being the best, right? And okay, let's say I'm using a 50K account. Yeah, I want to trade max 2 micros. Yeah. And I then want to activate that. Well, it's currently active. Let's say it was this one, you activate this strategy and it will just start the process of that's how it's going to manage your trades, right? And then we have this prop firm EV mode, right? And that's where, as you can see, powered by Edgeable, Monte Carlo engine, and that's going to help to simulate the success. How many days to pass? Like let's see, what is it? Payout rate 100%. So very good, right? Monthly obtainable is around 7K, right? Pass rate 100%. Median days to pass would be 25, it says, you know. That's the median. And yeah, let's have a look down here. Breakdown, average days to pass, 12.8. Yeah. Not bad with 2 micros, you know, and so it's a solid sort of something that sort of makes concrete, hey, wait, you know, don't expect to pass in 2 days, you know, even though a lot of us want to just get that challenge out of the way, right? But if you were running it just autonomously, which is a blessing in many ways, because I think you would sort of feel the same way as me, where the more I'm sort of digging into and evolving the automation side, I'm rarely looking at a chart, right? And I'm also noticing my quality of life is increasing quite a lot because I don't feel the need to be trapped to a chart. You can be a very skilled trader. I've been trading for many years, but it's still this process that you have to wake up, look for a setup, Oh, the market's doing weird shit today. Oh, Trump's tweeting some nonsense. It's like that. And that is a bit draining, if you would agree. Even for the most experienced traders, trading is trading. It doesn't change. So automation sort of removes that obstacle a lot. But it's nice. It's nice. I really like what you've done here, man, because yeah, it gives you sort of something to grapple hold of, something to be aware of. Like it will take average 12 days or whatever to pass if you were to use 2 micros. Yep. So yeah, that's kind of. Do you have anything? Maybe there's something I haven't addressed here that you feel like I should before we move on.
I mean, just by looking at that, I made some updates to the main dashboard, but there's definitely a couple of things I need to fix there. That's reminded me. I've just been so busy
For sure.
getting the freaking trade copier done because, as I told you, I was trading today and I had to have all that set up so I could cross trade in my funded next accounts, my trader accounts. Which, by the way, I'm getting pretty much tick to tick fills, which I don't know any other trade copy doing, which is quite cool. But yeah, the prop firm expected value is kind of like your cheat sheet because, as you were saying, there is. I think there's quite a lot of people, even if you go on Reddit, which I'm doing at the moment, just seeing what everybody's up to, and people are saying like that they were better on live accounts or they're actually better on prop firm accounts. But the one thing which streaks my mind all the time is that to be profitable with prop firms, because of the cost per eval and activation fee and whatnot, you can have a really, really, really bad strategy, yet still come out on top of prop firms. And that's kind of the thing baffling when you're looking at the statistics. I mean, I think Top Step showed that there's only like a 6% of people pass their first their evaluation or something.
Yeah, it's low.
Yeah, and you're thinking like, okay, like I remember even telling you like I got 2 accounts and one went long, one went short, and then instead people like I'm not saying that's the recommended way to do it, obviously not, because that was really stupid, but you can almost create a strategy on PineScript which just if heads long, if tails short, and then just target average true ranges. And even then, cool, you say you buy 10 accounts, maybe you pass 5, you fail 5, and you get paid out in 2 of them. But then let's say you paid 100 for each eval, so $1,000. But on them 2 accounts you got paid out, and you got paid 1,000 in each. So you're still netting 1K, which is kind of the baffling thing. Like if you've got the money to do so, if you've got the money to almost blow just sweet, I'm gonna buy 5 evals today, like I'm sure a lot of people can do, which they can say, oh yeah, cool, trader file looks good, I'm gonna buy 5 accounts of them, see what they're like. Yet they still blow them. It's kind of just like if you like the prop firm game is interesting, isn't it? Because it's like it's hardly ever played correctly.
That's true. It's true. It's a different approach entirely, and that's why going through this and extracting all that data and having some sort of algorithm that you build, right, to sort of find those edges specifically for what's our objective, like trading prop firms. So our edges make absolute most sense when we're aligning it with the confines of those rules, right? And that's what you're doing here. So like you were saying, 40% win rate strategy with 1-to-1. So many people in the space are like, I have this magic manual trading strategy, right? Cool. Okay, what are the numbers, right? And then it's like, you don't have to be aiming for these 90% win rate. It's so funny when people bring up win rate as a something to sort of showcase how powerful their system is, because it's like, are you a prop trader? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, you do realize with the correct fine-tuned ATM layer, right? So automated trading strategy layer, or even just if you're manual trading, the correct risk profiling and optimization through the real trade data, not just I have a high win rate strategy. I'm like, do you have data supporting that? Like, what do you mean high win rate? Oh, it just works really well. I'm like, that's not a number. That's not a measurable thing.
And
Trust me, I make money. I'm
even
like,
then, sorry, not to cut you off. Even
yeah,
then,
go ahead.
as well, you know, all these ICT traders are like, oh yeah, I back tested my strategy in FX replay, but then, like, the thing I like the battle of discretionary trading, it's very dependent on your mood, isn't it? It's like you could come home from work one day or college or university or going out with your mates and you're in a bad mood and then you're not going to trade correctly. Like, or you're not going to take the A plus plus setup and you're going to be there the next day when you're on a better frame of mind and you're like, oh my days, there was only one A plus like strategy, there was only one A plus entry yesterday, and oh my days, how did I not take it? And it's kind of like that battle of you've got to be so emotionally resilient.
And it doesn't last. Like, you might go through phases, right, where you are, right, and then you'll have a phase where you're not, and then that affects your strategy and how you perform that strategy and sticking to the plan, right? Sticking to the plan, as they always say, you know. And that is too much of a variable, right? It's too much of a deciding factor. And really, we want to remove all of these sort of human elements as much as we can. And I think you know what, man, I think what so many people say, and I've seen posts from people saying, like, I'm a discretionary trader, and you choose what kind of trader you are, right? But actually, there's an evolution, right? And certainly now more than ever, the evolution is you're discretionary, right? Then yes, you're semi-automatic trader, then you're fully autonomous, right? And that is the natural evolution in this day and age more than ever, because if you're always going to be labeling yourself as discretionary, number one, that makes me feel like you're not confident enough to automate, right? And so maybe you're too reliant on your emotions, right? Like you were saying. And if you're too reliant on your emotions, which you always will be as a discretionary trader, right? Then one day you're going to start the phase of demise once again. What I mean by that is the period where you aren't able to perform like you were when things were going smooth for you, right? For whatever reason. It could be we're such sensitive creatures, aren't we? Like, it could be some external factor. It would be some external factor, right? And it might be something going on in your home life. Can you imagine going through those tough periods in your personal life and having something automatically trade for you anyway? And yeah, what I'm noticing more and more is just like an absolute lack of interest to actually look at the chart, because I used to treat looking at the chart as like a hobby, right? It's enjoyable to watch the price doing things and aiming to predict moves and stuff like that, right? Like you're like going to play fucking tennis, you know? Like, whereas it's not that. If you have a choice for it to be that or for it to not be that, and one will result in there's nothing quite like manual trading and being in the flow, right? And being discretionary and loading up 15 minis, right? And bloody getting your stop in tight and monopolizing on these huge expansions. You know, when it runs, and you're in 15 contracts, right? Cool, you made 30k in one trade. But if you're going to trade like that long term, that can really mess with you, right? Whereas if you're just trading like 2 micros, yeah, with the way we have our system set up, right, with these signals, and you're getting like 30, 40 trades a day, and the machine learning algorithm and the LLM are deciding which trades are actually worth taking. Well, guess what? When the market gives, you'll be in all of those trades consecutively, one after another, and you could be making like 500, some days $1,000 in a day, you know, but you didn't touch anything. You didn't have to think, you didn't have to get involved, and 30k one day and then losing 100k over the next month because you're just not locked in anymore is much more distressing than if you're just making 200, 500 one day, 1,000 maybe if you're lucky after a few days, you know, then back to like 100 a day, just about break even. That adds up very much. Yeah. So I'd sooner be doing that, and it's not these crazy sweeping P&Ls like massively up. Oh no, come crashing down. Like your P&L shouldn't look like a roller coaster, you know, because you're going to feel like a roller coaster. You know, you're going to feel like you're on a roller coaster. So yeah, I think it's just like a natural progression to be like, we have an automated trading system. We have like 3,500 to 4,000 real signals that it's trained on, and then being like, hey, Edgeable, what do you make of this? And using this strategy mode, right? And with this prop account, how easy is it to pass? Is it going to work, right? If I just run it, and that's what this is showing us. Like it should work, right? Um, yeah, I mean that's it. I also added your. I noticed you had an endpoint. What if? I called it. What if simulator.
Oh
Uh,
yes. Oh yeah.
yeah. So this basically shows you like how many trades, what's the outcome, right? What's the optimal contract size to achieve X by whenever the risk profiles, which is it's just like a nice to have. Would you call it? Like it's nice to have, but it doesn't necessarily directly integrate with like. It's like, what is your strategy, you know, and will it work, kind of thing, you
Yeah,
know.
it's useful to have considering we were both saying even the other day like with a 40% win rate and a 1-to-1 RR, like
Mm-hmm.
in theory, if you're trading purely props, if that 40% win rate, even though statistically, like obviously 40% win rate with a 1-to-1, you're negative 10% or over 100 trades.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say your max win streak during that was, I don't know, 6 trades. Well, you can just kind of rinse prop firms, can't you? Because well, it's
Mm-hmm.
just you're exploiting the risk profile of the prop firm, and their risk profile means you can pay $100 for a 50k account, which 1% is $500. What to get a payout, you need 5 winning days. Like you can kind of slowly do the math, and you're just like, oh well, shit. Like my strategy might mean isn't the best, but damn, like automate that on a prop firm, it's not going to be life changing money, obviously, but
But it adds up, and you can scale, and you can add accounts, and you can copy trade
and it's
with,
stress free.
you
Like
know,
what more could you ask for?
like yeah. Once you know that, damn, this account's not really very exciting. You know, it's getting me like a couple of $100 a day. It's like, well, add, and also it's capping the downside, right? It's properly risk adjusted and using risk profiles, right? And it says if you have the current chain of events working in a certain way, you will make money long term, right? And so that's, I think, the power behind it. And then of course you can be like, okay, well, I'll get 5 more accounts, then that's $1,000 a day, you know what I mean? And so or thereabouts. But yeah, I think from here, I wanted to just go through a few more things. So the builder, I need to upgrade that. You probably noticed already, but it's pretty cool because it allows us to simulate. So you've got completely random, right? And so it's going to pick all these different sort of variables, yeah. And we can then save these, right, and put them on the leaderboard. But with all the processes that we have going on now, all the advancements, this needs to be updated, right? So we have like the I'm currently extracting all the MBO data, so the level 3 data, as you know, and that can be then incorporated here. And yeah, you can share it, right? Kind of like crypto, crypto exchanges. You can share your P&L and stuff, which is cool. And then you can whack your thing on the leaderboard, and then in future people will be able to be like, oh, I'm going to copy his strategy, you know what I mean? So yeah, it'll be bloody cool once it's there, because it's becoming more like not just a platform, but like a bloody ecosystem, right? So yeah, and plus us as a team, we have this little special automation group going on, which is like FBI shit, basically. But yeah, we're always flowing with ideas. There's some developers and software engineers in there too, so like they have valuable insights. So that allows us to progress things faster, right? Like without them, you got to rely on a really decent testing team. I also am someone who will always say not everyone deserve, and this isn't, I'm not trying to be rude, but not everyone deserves to have an opinion on like what needs to change, because they haven't got the skill set and experience, right? So we've put together naturally like this group of people that are equipped to get us to where we are now. Trade log, this is execute trade. I need to set this up because it's not actually collecting trades, as you can see from a while ago. So yeah, and then you can literally plug in, can you imagine, your prop account, right? So currently trade probably better off having once we go public, yeah, we will have the ability for people to, whoever signed up for Edgeable, right, with their ecosystem, it will come with certain subscription tiers, right? And one of those tiers, I think the middle tier, will even allow you to have the copy trading function. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that will be something you can just sign in with your Edgeable details and get that super fast execution that you were talking about. So yeah, and then Top Step is currently the main account that the Tradeovate accounts follow, right? But I'll have I'm working on setting it up so it's individual too, so you can have Tradeovate as the main account, individual account, which will be cool. So it doesn't have to rely on the following situation, right? Now, the super cool page, which I've been waiting to talk about, which is the automation page, right? So you can choose to deselect and select whichever accounts you want, right? And you can choose which signal mode, so all signals or lazy boy plus machine learning, qualification, and edge mode, which is that needs an update because I want it to be automatically choosing what the best current edges are. So it might be like B long setups for NQ, A short setups for GC, and requiring a certain machine learning threshold, right? So it has to be having like a confidence score of say 80, right? Or whatever. using app levels as stops and targets, right? Select your prop firm, and that will automatically bloody select the best contract sizing and also risk management protocols. So maybe it would be best optimized with a cool down period, so between losses, and you can actually add your own cool down periods too. Privacy mode for when you're streaming, you want to hide your account details, and stop loss guard. So if it fills at a crap price, basically, if it fills at or below or past the stop, the suggested stop, then it won't even execute the position. Micro contracts, or with that off, it's obviously mini. The contract month, the evil LLM is bloody, it's working, right? Because here's the dashboard, right? It's saying that basically without it, you had 5 trades that would have been passed and would have lost, right? And with it, you actually save on 140 points of impact. So it's working. I only put it live like yesterday or something. So, but it has all our data, it has all the machine learning regimes, which I currently have. Can you imagine, dude? 36 regimes, right? So yeah, quite a lot. But yeah, and now we have the zooming like this, right? Right, and you can see on the chart here we have level 3, layer 3 icebergs, right? So that's a heat map of the historical ones too. So where larger traders are actually historically protecting, right? So interesting stuff, right? Interesting stuff. And so with the also have this iceberg mode, right? So if I zoom in a bit, so I have the LLM because it's deciding what the current regime is for the current trading environment. Yeah. And it's then saying, hey, we are chopping, or we are there's a lot more regimes than just the traditional chop, trending, etc. We got literally 36 different regimes, but let's say it identifies that we are in a trending environment. Well, it will pick momentum mode, right? Because it wants to monopolize on the big expansion moves. But let's say we're in a tight range and it's chopping, it's going to pick like scout mode, right? And then the iceberg X-ray, super cool because let's say we put it on smart mode, it's going to, of course, no one is doing this, and it would take a lot of understanding first and foremost to even begin implementing such things. So I could say this publicly and people will try and reverse engineer it. Just really be so difficult for anyone. So I know we're like leaps and bounds far ahead of anyone else. But yeah, this is even saying, hey, we have a bloody iceberg order locally, and it will say, oh, this iceberg order below this bid iceberg, we just tapped recently, right? And we got a long signal, right, on NQ, should we say? And so it will say, okay, we're going to hold this bloody trade. Yeah, that's what it's doing. And it will it will override the stop and targets based on that. As you can see, strong icebergs override TPs and stops behind the institutional levels, basically the iceberg. Yeah, conservative, nearest iceberg becomes the TP1, right? So it's basically saying, let's say I'm in a long, and we have an iceberg above us, yeah, and it's before TP1, well, we're going to use the iceberg as the TP instead, right? And aggressive, this is pretty much being like, okay, we're going to extend TP2, right? Because we just hit an iceberg. So instead of the momentum mode, it's just going to extend it out to a further away iceberg. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it on smart mode. So yeah, that's kind of what, and it's working. It's working. You also choose which account you want to be the lead. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. Really cool.
I was just gonna say, have we touched on what Edgeable is bringing to the table in terms of ensuring you can trade with absolutely any prop firm out there in the world?
In terms of the copy trading.
Oh yeah. So the integration of all of that with, well, basically, the tests I've done on yesterday and today for TradeAway, it's 40 milliseconds of latency, which
That's
isn't bad at all.
crazy. Yeah. So incredibly fast, man.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the other trade copies out there. Let's just say that.
Yeah, you know what, man? Like, we know as, look, I use some of those guys. I have no issues with them, and they worked right. But we know as traders, execution speed is totally top of the agenda. And with automation, it's even more important because you want to kind of feel exactly where the signal suggests the entry should be, you know. And so, yeah, it's just like a natural progression. It's like, you know, so many times people like come out with a new idea, right? And it might be something like, here is your psychology supporter, you know. I'm like, well, psychology is irrelevant when you're automating, isn't it? So then, and then if we're thinking about the natural progression of traders, discretionary, I don't mean always, because it was never that obtainable, right, for the general population, right? But in this day and age, discretionary trader, semi-automatic, then full automatic is the process of evolution, right? And you can tell me, no, I'll always be a discretionary trade. No, one day you'll be influenced by someone out there who made it seem obtainable, right? And then you will be looking to do that. It's just natural. So it's a natural progression for us to be thinking about things like copy trading, getting that execution time, execution speed absolutely down as small as it can be, right? And these are just natural things to add. It's like, it's not coming from a place of like, let's just do something else, right? It's everything we're doing is because it serves a purpose, which is a big difference between just like, I'm going to create this thing because I wanna. No, we're creating things that actually complementary to the pipeline of events, right? So yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it's just very, very exciting, if I'm honest. And yeah, even the last 2 weeks, even though we've been still testing a lot, and there's been a lot of things to iron out with such a complex system. You know what? It's still got me like 2 payouts, right? So nothing big, just like 1,000 here and there, you know. So yeah, I can only imagine where it will be when it's everything is set up ahead of the full launch, you know. So, but yeah, like you were saying, don't need a perfect strategy if it's managed right. Yeah. Um, and automation is, of course, the end goal to that, because then it's like all those psychology books for traders. You can put them in the bin. You know, trading's stressing me out so much. Why? Oh, you're still manually entering. Oh, that'll be why. Yeah. In this trade, like I see sometimes people are like, man, imagine being a new trader starting trading now. You know, because I've told you that a few times. Like even 2 years ago, I'd be semi comfortably using like max leverage 15 minis. No joke. You can't do that now.
Can hardly use 15 micros.
Well, even like 2 micros, sometimes it's a bit like, don't really want to be losing that today, you know?
I mean, even trading earlier, I think I was using 3 micros and I still ended up like making 2% with like a position with 3 micros. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's
Not even 3 minis, and I'm what? What the hell? What? It's crazy.
Oh, god damn. I think, we've kind of summarized. Is there any specific things you wanted to like mention before I look through the chat? Because I don't know if maybe there's some questions in the chat. We can run through them.
I just want to say one thing, because I know a lot of people here have probably been trading for at least a year, hopefully at least a year, and well, even 6 months, even if you're just starting, you would have noticed that there's always been phases, and there's always been a couple of phases within them phases to stick. At the start, it was it was ICT a couple of years ago when you released the 2022 model, and then people started creeping into order flow, and then people started creeping into standard deviation, and now it's slowly converting into quant, or not even just quant, just algorithmic trading, kind of that taking the whole stress away. Because at the end of the day, who would you trust more with your money? Would you trust a professional trader, which can still have psychological issues, which I don't know if that person got divorced and then he was still managing your money, it might not end well, or would you trust a professional fund with their algorithms? Because the algorithms, the algorithm isn't gonna get divorced. It's not gonna be sick. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have emotions. It's kind of just like you have that set, and because prop firms have such a nice risk profile, you can leave this running and just live your life, and you don't really have to worry about it as much as you do a normal trader, or you don't have to. It kind of shifts the accountability away, doesn't it? It's kind of just like, yeah, you know what, cool. I've got this running. I'll check up it in a week. Oh, cool. It netted 2% this week, which 2% in a week by doing what? By not even checking charts and going out and just living your life. Like, who wouldn't want that? That's crazy. Cool. It's not like change your life in a day sort of money, but it's like, what the hell? Why the hell have I been manually trading? Like doing my analysis for hours a day. Like, what?
Yeah, but if you've come from that neck of the woods, right, where you spent all these years manually trading, yeah, then surrendering to something that just trades for you, it also takes some adjustment, because you're going to want to check the chart when you're not needed, right? You're not needed. You'll look anyway. You'll be like, what the, don't check the chart. Don't do it. It's that feeling. And so, yeah, that's kind of the main, getting used to not being involved, right? But yeah, anyway, I'll check the chat now. Let's see. Bloody, let's go. I'm reading the chat. Let's go. Hi. YOLO. EvilAI for the win. That came from me. I'm guessing Williams logged in or something. What is Mr. Edgible's recommended strategy? Oh, would you be willing to tell him? I think, yeah, maybe I'll code in an edgeable bloody, with your approval, an edgeable mode. I don't know what we'll call it, but yeah, he does have something that his system picked up as like being a golden goose. So, and we chatted about that yesterday. I just need to dig into the data, and I've got a lot of work to do. You know, I've got a long list of stuff I want to get done, right? And so it's more like a watch this space kind of thing for the moment. Yeah. But yeah, we'll just keep it that way, right? But yeah, there is a recommended strategy. We have a few strategies in the ATM lab, right? But there's definitely room with the power that we have and the tools we have now built into it, and the data that we've collected on the back end with all these different new approaches, right, to managing the signals and qualifying the signals and whatnot. There's definitely room to add another another mode. Yeah, maybe even a few modes. But yeah, I mean, it's very transparent. All the data is there, you know. So, and when we add those, you'll be able to compare the different strategies too. You replace chart time with coding. Do not lie. Yeah, that's true. But I don't want to be doing it forever because I want to I want to have a little bit of a break. People always laughing at me saying I always say I'm going to have a break. Yeah, I don't know when. But yeah. Johnny, it's been a while. CCOG's in the chat. Let's go. And come on, bruh. So, the bots are complaining at you. How do you Corey, how do you access the ATM Labs app? It's not released yet. Yeah. It's actually only been a few weeks or so since I started building it. So yeah, when it comes to like automation, I'm sure you can appreciate you have to get it right. Not just on your own account, but if I'm triggering lots of people's accounts, right? And the good thing is, there are lots of different strategies and lots of different ways the ATM lab can trigger. So not everyone's going to be trading this exact same thing as well, which is beautiful, right? Because then it's not like we're all going to get banned trading the same things, exits and entries and exits, and it all runs on your own personal IP address. So we've thought about all that stuff. I've even got a full legally binding thing you have to sign to use it. So absolutely, I'm not as dumb as I look, right? And I think about all this stuff. So um, when you're using the app, you shouldn't feel like it's a risk to use. I think is the main thing from the user perspective. Yeah. All right. I'm just going through. Meat cylinder. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I just thought about meat cylinders, obviously. No homo. And moral supporters VSN. Hey, I guess I'm Special Agent Anderson. Yes, you are. Big brains only. Any ETA on public. Look, I think we're probably probably another week before I start rolling it out to the group. And yeah, with the Edgeable sync integration, that's going to fast track that process a lot. So, I mean, I don't want to speak too soon, but there's that conversation. I just need to hand over the stuff that will allow it to integrate to the Edgeable guys. So
For Edgeable, we're really well. I'm still kind of ill, but realistically, I could probably get it all done, all
don't
published.
show weakness, man. Never show weakness.
Oh man, no,
I'm not ill. I feel great.
Yeah, I feel great. I feel great. Yeah. I just need to pop a couple of pills, and then I'll be. No. I'm just great. I'm feeling great now. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Realistically, within about 24 hours, if I just even on the weekend, I'll probably get out on the weekend and beta test. Well, I've been beta testing Trade8. Trade8 works fine. I've made my own top step library as well using the way I can, which I sent to John, and he thinks it's all good. After that, it's just trade. See, realistically, I just need them 2 or 3 things from you, which we discussed yesterday.
We can take that offline. But Trade.C, did you mention?
Oh,
Trade.C. What?
the first with the
How?
yeah. Well, I think we're going to be the first people to be able to copy Trade.C. What? That's crazy. What? How? Yo, that's
How
crazy.
even? You hacker. But yeah, anyway, so some of us are in premium sometime. So looking forward to it. Yeah. Look, there'll be I won't speak too much, but like if you're already in premium, like there'll be some sort of situation that I'll present to you, and I'll take that offline as well. But yeah, just we'll update the group soon, probably in the next few days, of the plan and ETAs and stuff, rough time frame. Okay. By the way, how far ago does ML and app backtest go? So it's basically the last. We have like all in all about 3,500 to 4,000 actual signals, and then about 1,500 of those are lazy boy qualified. The machine learning has been basically trained on all of those signals. So it's been running since the inception of the app, so about 2 months or so. Yeah, 2 to 3 months maybe, which is enough actually for the start. We're not swing traders, right? We're literally getting between 30 to 40 trades a day, right? Which then have to be organized and qualified, right? Yeah, the ML system is actually very, very good, but I haven't green lit it yet because I haven't given the green light to apply it in your signals apps yet, because I wanted one more round of training with this new data that I've got for the MBO, the level 3 data. Yeah, so it's all happening, right? You got to think about it. It's literally since the start of, can you imagine, man? Since the start of the year, it wasn't even the exact start. We've only been working on even the Signals app, and then this, all of it since maybe February, which is crazy. No wonder why I feel so great.
Never show weakness, Jordan. Never show weakness.
Yeah, I just feel so good from grinding so hard. I mean, when people say, "Oh, I've been grinding hard. Look at what I made," right? And then I look at it, I'm like, "It's all right. It's all right, I guess." And then I'm like, and they're like, "Oh, no one else grinds as hard as you." People are saying. I'm like, I don't know, man. There are levels to this grinding, and yeah, when you grind as hard as us, you feel so good. But yeah, the prop firm era killer. Yeah, pretty much. Because it's not just the signals app. It's actually basically saying, hey, these are the prop firm confines, what you have to work with. And does it work with that? Because it works with a personal account. You can literally have something that works amazing with a personal account. You apply it to your prop firm confines, right? And it will blow up in a few days, right? So there's big requirement there to think about it. It's very smart. Oh, it's Shaviv. Hey, man. God. So yeah, you can see why I've been so busy waiting for the printer to commence. Yes, I still can't get over the fact that you called it me. So I don't know. It's just like staying up till 7 a.m. coding and masterminding. You come out with a few things. One of those things can be something like Meat Cylinder. Absolutely amazing. Cool, right? Yeah. Like I am the absolute best spokesperson for this because I if it I always say this, if it's something good enough for me, it's good enough for anyone else. And I'll be using it. So what if my bot starts complaining about psychology? Not gonna happen. Well, I don't know. There might be a point where the LLM starts to become sentient. Thanks, man. Jason there. Yeah, it's getting there. I'm trying my hardest all the time. We are all. Um, I don't know what you're talking about. ICT code. When you go into drawdown, does the system decrease size for you? And do you get alerts letting you know a bit about it? So currently the only notifications are coming from the Signal app, so evilsignals.trade, and that will just tell you entry, exit. Well, actually, you can choose from a long list what you want to see in those notifications. It could be even trail, activation price, and also ML, confidence score, and stuff like this. But does it decrease size? The LLM could be programmed to do that pretty easily. But yeah, because we're actually looking at the strategy page, right? And we're seeing what like a static amount of contracts. There are some ATM strategies that actually will enter more contracts. There's like anti-martingale where if you set 2 contracts in your automation page, it will break that up into like 50% first entry, and then adding the other half after TP1 hits. Instead of actually taking profit at TP1, it adds to that. As an example, there's such a huge array of like over 30 different ATM strategies currently. So yeah, it depends is the answer to that. But yeah, there could be a factor in future that lowers contract size. But if you're dealing with micros anyway, which I think most traders will be, because if you have something that's automated that just makes you a couple of $100 even on one account, and you have like 10 accounts every day, risk adjusted, well, I think you're not going to be so worried about it being in 2 micros or 1 micro, because you can't go lower than that really. So, but I understand what you're saying. It just depends. Where does that apply? Actually, what we have, which is better than that, is the LLM, right? The ML system that's basically going to tell you whether a trade should be allowed through or not before the trade, well, at the time of the trade coming through, right? Because then it's not going to take, as you saw there when I showed you the evil LLM, it managed to stop trades from going through that would have lost, and it only allowed the majority of trades that would have won through, which is what you want, right? So I think that solves that problem. The decreasing size thing isn't necessary if you have a system that's able to actually choose whether a trade should go through based on the environment, based on whether we're near big traders levels, etc. Am I making? I'm sort of thinking this through as I'm responding to you as well. So I think that beats risk or sort of leverage adjusting. Yeah. Plus, the ATM strategy will determine whether more contracts are added or not, and when those are taken off. But we have that trailing break even in a lot of different strategies too. So it caps you after you've already in profit. Do either of you think you will be doing any discretionary trading as a hobby on the side with Edgeable and EvilAI? He will. Mr. Edgeable will. I
love
won't.
the icebergs. I love them.
Yeah, I mean, we have some good tools in the suite of tools, of course. Like, why would I have started or bothered with all this if I didn't think there was something that we had originally that, like stacks and icebergs and shark food and whatnot, like that is great. If you like, it's probably the best of the best stuff you can have if you're discretionary, right? Because it frames the day for you. It shows you where the bigger traders are looking to actually protect. I mean, you don't have to do any drawing or flicking between time frames typically, so it's just there, and you're like, the hardest part is waiting for those levels to hit, right, and not entering some random ass trade in between. I'm sure you would agree. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, but I'm not. The only discretionary trading I've been doing is when the automation system fails to manage a trade because it's bugs, and I have to close it manually. That's my discretionary trading. So yeah, I trade see what you did there. Very nice. Okay, we're coming to the end of the list now. So price, I will be just for fun. Lazy boy becoming a real boy. Yes. Thanks for the answers. Great job, guys. Future is bright. Yeah. I'm excited. I have a lot of work to do though, but it's like, remember, dude, when we first launched the Evil Signals .trade app, it had a lot of problems, right? A lot of
Oh
problems,
yes.
and
Oh yes.
it took like maybe a month or more to make it just work, right? And it's so difficult, really hard. Like, I stressed out a lot, and I think everyone knows that. um yeah, and it maybe even scared off a lot of people that were subscribed because they're trying to, but it needed to happen, right? uh, they're trying to use the signals app, and it's showing signals that shouldn't have been qualified and all this stuff. I'm like, why the hell is that happening? So, but I'm always more about, like, I'm okay with evolution. Sometimes you have to stand on a few toes, and that's okay. But I'm sorry to anyone that had to be there whilst that happened. Trust me, I was having a much more difficult time. But yeah, we're there now. So we know that when you create an app, there's going to be a period where you have to fix stuff. So I'm going to not release it to everyone until it's done the rounds, right? And it's not a case of like, will it work? It's a case of when, right? Just like with the Signals app, because I've gone through a few rounds of app development now, right? And I know there's always this like, oh, you worry, right? You're like, oh, I hope it, like, I managed to make it work, you know. I hope I can do this, You question your own ability, but I've proven that you can over time. But if we can limit the impact on other people as much as we can, meaning I'm not going to launch it until it works. So it's just a case of when is it going to be totally seamless? Because It'll work great for a few days, and then like some connection will not work, and then it's just a case of identifying what the cause is and then fixing it, and then expecting that there'll be some other thing in a few days. Before you know it, if you patch, like I think of it like patching like a leak, right? Oh, there's one there, one there. You keep doing it. Eventually, the whole pipe's going to be covered in tape, and there's no leaks. Anyway, cheers, Paul. Yeah, we're getting there. I love trading Stack and Iceberg. Will there be any more updated to those tools in future? Well, we're creating our own platform, charting platform. So all that stuff will be in there, and it will be even better because we'll have access to all this crazy data and not be limited by TradingView. So yeah, there's already an iceberg, updated iceberg indicator. I just haven't had time to release it yet. This is a question unrelated to this topic, but do you use options data or take it into account for shark food or iceberg? Because things like GEX can be very good to see where people are most exposed. I actually built a GEX indicator. I was just having to pull in those levels from Python, right? And from my experience, it's all right, it's all right. But I don't think it's going to necessarily enhance anyone's strategies that they already have going if it's working for them. Just my opinion. And often it can do more harm than good because it gives you what I call an expectatory factor. You're expecting something. Yeah. But just to satisfy the broader, I guess, range of traders in the new charting platform, we will have those. I have a feed for them as well. Like, I know the calculations. And then we also had these dark pool levels, which once again, I think it can just end up cluttering things a bit because you end up just having so many levels. The interesting thing is when those levels cluster, for example, stacks, right? Because then you have real fair value at those points where traders are looking, many different traders are looking to actually enter the market. Yeah, but it's something I will add, but it's not like priority at all. Why? Because I've tested it and what we have actually works much more clean, much more accurately, and it's less confusing. Look, there's a sort of interplay between GEX and theta and all of this stuff that can be actually calculated and merged together in a way that can actually make GEX on its own much more relevant, much more directive. Because it's like, oh, great, we've got levels. Yeah, but what do you do when you get to those levels, right? How do you know if it's going to hold? And that's where that can be explored, but it's not like priority right now because obviously my priority is not having to look at charts and just having something trade for me, right? You felt more confident with the zones recently. That's good. Yeah, I agree with you. It is part of market characteristics, but it's like, what do you choose? Big trader like level 3 data clustering, right? Icebergs, you know. Or do you choose like the expiry side of options contracts and that sort of hidden intention there, and also where traders are literally forced to do something at a certain point, you know what I mean? So that is an interesting thing to explore. Have I seen it work? Yes. Is it a bit vague and also gives you too much of an expectation factor? A little bit on that end of the spectrum, and that can fuck you. So yeah, we sort of want to limit that a little bit, but as key levels, right, then it's interesting. Will be added to the new platform because it's easy to do that. It's not a hard thing. Like you might as well gex mode, whatever, add that on. Like why not? And then from then we can of course feed all of the levels into the LLM that we have at that point. Look, I have a sort of a dream to have the bloody the ATM Lab inside a charting platform, right? So all the work I'm doing with the ATM Lab has an eventual territory that it'll inhabit inside that, and you'll basically be like able to. I mean, you can do that in ATM Lab when it's released anyway, but to be like, here's a long signal. Do you want to accept it? And then it projects it onto the chart. So uh, yeah, why isn't anyone doing that? Because they are scared to actually provide something that is literally telling you to trade. And I understand the legal side of it. I do, but we're protected. Why? Because it's down to I'm not even going to say why, because it's important for me to like gatekeep why. I think actually, like, yeah, I don't need to say everything, but I've thought about it and I know how we're going to get around it. Okay, let's see. A man walks into a library and asks the librarian where the books on paranoia are. The librarian replies, "Look over your shoulder." That's definitely William. Why don't you trust atoms? Because they make up literally everything. Yeah, it's got to be William. Looks like market cipher. Good. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Yeah, it is. It's the blonde lad. Anyway, that's it really. Thanks everyone for joining. And fucking yeah, mate. Yeah, exciting times. So yeah, but yeah, I like just watch this space. We'll do another stream on release, I think. So maybe in a week or two. And yeah, I'm excited. But I will go.